Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Beauty Heathen, now known as a healing phoenix. So, long time no see. For those that are returning to my channel, I'm sorry I've been gone so long. And for those who are new to my channel, I welcome you. A couple of housekeeping things. First off, I apologize for the background noise. The room I'm in at the moment is quite warm, so I had to turn on the fan. I hope that the noise isn't too obstructive. Second of all, this is not the format in which I had planned to come back. Well, my channel has always been a faceless channel. I had, before my break, already been planning to reformat my channel. I bought backdrops. I bought clothing, including face masks and things of that nature, costume style face masks, because I need to keep my channel faceless for a while. I do hope that maybe with time I can go without and just be myself, but right now is not that time. So, back in late 2018, I started this channel. I started it with the intention of going through the evolution of human spirituality, going over different cultures and their spiritual beliefs, and I did that through cosmetics, but on makeup practice heads. You can still see some of that very early content on my channel at the moment, but over time, it kind of evolved into me doing readings for people. I had never done readings on YouTube before. I had done them personally in my private life, but this was the first time that I had done them as content for my channel. And first I started off with pick-a-card readings, and over time that evolved into the majority of my content being true crime readings. Content which has since been taken down. Not because I wanted to, but because a large reason why YouTube demonetized my channel is they considered my content too controversial or spreading conspiracy theories. Even though every reading had for entertainment purposes only, and I always led each reading with none of this is fact. I have no evidence to support what I'm about to say. I'm merely going based on the energies that I'm picking up on and the cards that are coming out. Even some of the videos that YouTube took down really didn't make any sense to me. I had posted some manifestation moment videos, and those they hit the hardest, and even though I appealed, they still took them down. Why? I have no idea. No clue. Did not make any sense to me. But here we are. See, when I started this channel in 2018, it started off as an outlet for me, as someone who is in a situation that is unpleasant, and I just needed something to help keep me going. In fact, I'm going to try to go through some of that in a very veiled way with some cards. Here we have the Trapped, the Prisoner, and House. 3 cards that are very reminiscent of my situation, even more now than they were before. With me encountering a lot of difficulties from a parent. And this was always an outlet and a way for me to try to find some freedom, even if physically I'm presently trapped in a situation that is very harmful to me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. I'm trying to be careful with my words because YouTube does not like certain vocabulary. But I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So, before the break happened, I was starting to feel very much burnt out on doing true crime readings, and a large reason for that is because I am very empathic. I get very involved in the cases that I do readings on, and I'm very passionate about what I do because I care. I never went into those readings considering them entertainment, and I struggle to keep myself detached when it comes to situations where someone has been hurt. Not only because I understand somewhat how that feels, and to have it go ignored or supported, but because I'm very much a victim advocate, even though it's not my profession. It is something that I've always strived to be. When I've seen something wrong historically in my own life, I've stood up and I've said something. I'm not gonna say I've always been perfect. I haven't. I'm human just like the rest of us. We all make mistakes. We all get it wrong at times. But I always try to be there for people who otherwise may not have felt that they could speak for themselves. Because I knew what it was like to have no one speak up for me. And this channel was very much an outlet, and when it started to become something other than a safe space for me, because it started to become very draining on me, I was struggling to keep up with my own schedule, and I was struggling to keep up with how I was going to evolve this channel and start moving it a little bit away from doing true crime readings, at least as often as I was. But then I had some health issues. And those health issues took me away from this channel a lot longer than I anticipated. And then my channel got demonetized. So I'm basically, other than having the subscriber count, starting over from scratch with gaining the 4,000 viewer hours in order to apply for monetization again. And I even got a letter this past week from YouTube saying that if I'm not monetized within the next 30 days, they are deactivating my AdSense account, which means that I will no longer be eligible for any revenue until I go through the whole process again of reapplying and reattempting to get monetized again. Right now, I don't know how I'm going to go about that. I don't know if it's going to be something that I may apply for immediately if I become eligible, or if I'm going to wait until I'm out of my particular situation and in a much safer situation before I do so. Because one thing that you guys may not know about YouTube and AdSense and all of that kind of stuff is if you relocate, you have to deactivate your AdSense for a month, especially while you're moving, because it's the only way that you can update your address is to basically close that account and open a new one, which in and of itself can take a month. Sorry about that. So, yeah. I was very much feeling it, and I went and kind of ghosted for a long time, kind of abandoned the channel and what I was doing. Since the first health issues late last year, I started to experience some physical disability. My personal life has been a struggle for a very long time, with me doing a job that I always hated doing, but the one thing that kept me going was it got me out of the house, and I've always been passionate about the safety and security of others, and my job involved that to a sense, and it was in healthcare. Well, towards the end of last year, I first started to notice I was having severe pain down my right leg, sciatic pain. And I started off for some time with a chiropractor. That didn't work. When I realized it wasn't working and I was getting worse, I sought the help of a center that had physical therapy, neurosurgeon, and all of that. They ended up taking a look at the situation and sending me off for some diagnostic testing to realize that I had severely herniated disc between the L5-S1 discs in my back. I had a full compression and a full herniation, compressing on the sciatic nerve. And that is a pain I do not wish on anybody. But it especially started to get even more worse. I tried everything. I did everything I was told to do, and that first office referred me to another office because I'm somewhat plus size, and despite the fact that I had lost a significant amount of weight in about a year's time, I came to find out that the first neurosurgeon did not feel comfortable doing surgery on me because of my weight, which was a veiled way of saying that he didn't particularly like plus size people. The new neurosurgeon made all these promises, and he referred me to physical therapy, which I did for a while, until it too no longer worked, and my pain became so severe that I could no longer walk. I had not one but 2 trips to the emergency department, begging and pleading for help. The second time I was there, I was held for 48 hours in the emergency department as they worked to try to get me on a medication regimen that could keep the pain somewhat controlled, even though it was not well controlled if I had to move. It was at least a bit better. And where my second neurosurgeon's office had severely dropped the ball, which will be another thing I will discuss at a later time, I was referred to a third neurosurgeon associated with this hospital that I went to. And that third neurosurgeon took my case extremely seriously. When I made it into their office, they saw how severe my pain was, and they saw how severe my condition had deteriorated to because of medical neglect done by physicians before them. They immediately got me admitted into the hospital that night, and the next day I was in surgery. I saw pre-disc removal photos and post-disc removal photos, and a surgery that took maximum of 3.5 hours generally took my neurosurgeon 5 hours to complete. And they needed to call in the head of their neurosurgical department to help. And I'm sorry if I'm stumbling over my words. This was a very traumatic thing. Not because I didn't need the surgery. I knew I needed the surgery. It's why I had pursued help. But surgery on a regular basis is traumatic as it is. It's scary, especially when it's something to do with this surgery could potentially make it so that I can't walk anymore, or I could lose my life during this, or, you know, there's all the concerns and worries that come about, and I'm okay. I'm actually doing a lot better than I was before the surgery. But surgery is always a very traumatic thing. But when you've gotten to a point where the pain is so severe, you are begging the universe for it to end in not so subtle ways. And because you're in so much pain that you're not realizing how bad this is on your mental health and well-being, and it doesn't hit you until the pain is relieved. I'm dealing with a lot right now. Let's put it that way. But I am back. I am able to walk. I'm still having some mobility issues, but I'm doing my physical therapy. I've been cleared by some medical people. I do have follow-up appointments still to do, but I'm much better than what I was beforehand. And for anyone who works in healthcare, and anyone who doesn't, it is not normal experience to have the amount of medical people who tended to me make themselves known When I was in the hospital the second time before my surgery, I had more than one attending approach me, and that included the attending of the emergency department. Even though I had made it very clear that my being there was through no fault of their own, but through physicians at another facility that was not affiliated with theirs. They took great care to make sure that I was well taken care of and ensured that I was okay. And more than one of them have encouraged me to pursue this legally, and I will be, but I cannot speak too much about details at this time because I will be getting assistance. I will be finding a lawyer and all of that. But anyway, all of that aside, if you followed my channel for the true crime readings and content, that content is being relocated now to my Patreon because it's the only place that I can really post it without getting dinged, without moving it to a platform that I do not feel comfortable moving it to. There are platforms that are less restrictive for content creation, but they tend to be leaning in a direction that I do not feel comfortable being present on. So, the true crime readings are going to my Patreon, but I will also be posting additional content to my Patreon. It will not just be for true crime readings. I had quite a few people enjoying the content where I spoke about spirituality and doing spiritual ritual works and stuff like that over there. So if you're interested in that type of content, please by all means go over there, and you can access all of the videos and everything for, excuse my cat, pretty cheap costs. I tried to keep my prices somewhat down so that people could still enjoy content without breaking the bank. But now, let's talk about the future of this channel. I have a new vision for this channel. Hence the change in the name. Going to the Healing Phoenix. So, I'm very sorry about all the background noise. I'm not going to edit this video. It takes a lot of time and struggle to do that, and my cat is being annoying. I'm not even in the space I would normally be recording in. That story's gonna be saved for the next video that I do. But I spoke a lot about my own personal life and things that I'm dealing with at present, and have been up until now. And I do still have to be very careful with my verbiage. It has always been something I've wanted to do, but have felt scared to do. To talk about my own healing journey, mentally, emotionally. And I want to take you on this journey as I work to get out of my situation and change my life in a new direction. I went over the health stuff, but at the end of last year, ironically on my birthday, my boss, my former boss, sold the business. And the new company that bought the business is largely not keeping any of us. And I'm due to lose my job at the end of the year. So I figure I was already hoping to change the content on this channel. If not now, when? Because I don't know what's coming next. I don't know how my life is about to change, other than things are very drastically going to change. I can no longer leave my house because of healing, physical healing that I'm dealing with right now, but I'm also working remotely right now, so I am in the house all the time right now. But I do want to take people through my journey, and I will speak more unedited also on my Patreon about things. I do have to speak very carefully on YouTube, but I will be able to be more forthright on Patreon. So over on Patreon, you're going to get a lot of diverse content. You are going to get the readings. You are going to get life updates and content that you will not see over here on YouTube. I will be more myself. And if you don't mind a potty mouth, I promise that that's likely going to be me over on Patreon, where I cannot do that over here. I will, over the next several weeks, be slowly posting the true crime readings that were over here, over there. And that is for a few reasons. One, buy me a little bit of time because I need to work on making content again. But also, while I am making content for here, I also want to make sure that the people who enjoy that type of content are able to access those readings again. So, that is what's going on over on Patreon, and I will likely be posting more over there than over here, at least until this channel is monetized and I can do so in a way that maybe a little less having to shield and protect myself, if that makes sense. Things are changing in huge ways. And who knows, maybe one day, in the not so distant future, you will get to see who I am and learn more about me and see more of who I am. Because for those who don't know, I am pagan and I listen to my own spiritual guides, and for a long time they've been encouraging me to make this type of content because my voice apparently needs to be heard. Because maybe if I can help anyone who may be in a situation similar to mine, maybe if my experience can help even one person, it'll be worth it. Okay? So, if you decide to leave, I understand. If this is not the type of content you really want to see, I get it. But it's really the best I can do right now, and I will still probably post readings from time to time. I'll probably stick to pick-a-card readings and things of that nature, and when I finally am able to get into my recording space and set up things a bit better, I hope to do content in a revised way so that maybe you're not just staring at the screen, the cards on the table anymore. I did buy a digital camera for me to record content with. I just never really got to use it and never really got to learn how to use it. So this is going to be a learning experience, and yeah. So with all that said, and until next time, I hope you all stay safe and healthy. And I will see you again next time. I plan to currently put out 1 video a week over here, and we'll see how things go. Alright? Take care, guys. Bye for now.